So we're gonna move on to TV show, our favorite horror episodes and TV shows, real quick. I'm gonna go with Twilight Zone: Time Enough at Last, which is
the classic.
yeah. So most of the Twilight Zone episodes I have on this list are the classic Twilight Zone, and with Time Enough at Last with Burgess Meredith, who people know he was Rocky's trainer, and
He was also Penguin in Adam West show.
yeah, also the Penguin. He played the villain Penguin in the Adam West 1966 Batman TV series, and it is all about a guy who just loves to read. That's all he likes to do. Just everywhere he goes, he reads. Even when he's at his job, he's supposed to be doing his job. He's reading because he's a bank teller and he fucks up people's money because he's too busy reading. And when he comes home, he tries to read the newspaper. His wife snatches the newspaper out of his hand, says, why are you always reading? And she just gets mad at him all the time. And what he loves to do is like one of his favorite things to do on lunch when he's at work is go into the bank vault and read. And then turns out the day he goes into the bank vault, there's this huge nuclear explosion that basically destroys the whole town that he lives in, kills everybody, and it's just him. And then, of course, that famous scene at the end of the episode is where he has all these books and he finally thinks he can live his dream of reading all the books because he has all the time in the world, and then he drops his glasses and then he can't see without his glasses, and it's that's what the Twilight Zone would do something really fucked up, and that way of like a character thinks he has something and can finally grasp it, but then it just slips away through his fingers. And I absolutely just love that episode a lot. Because it's really funny to see him and his wife. And it's like, you always read these books. You never fuck me. You never eat my pussy. Jesus Christ. Why don't you get away from these goddamn books and fucking, actually connect with the world? And kind of the separation between what is loneliness, solitude, and what is just true, just, being alone, and what does that really mean? What do you got for some horror TV shows or episodes there?
Oh man, one of the horror TV shows that I'm waiting on now, and they won't give us a goddamn release date. Black Mirror. One of the best shows out. Like you said, Twilight Zone. This is my Twilight Zone because I don't have too many episodes from Twilight Zone that I can remember. Tales from the Crypt, great show that I grew up with in the 90s. Walking Dead. I really don't honestly know why I threw that on there, but I had to throw in Zombie somehow.
Right. Okay.
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you guys remember that. That was another great thing growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is The X-Files. But I want to throw out an actual honorable mention for something that we always forget. Does anybody remember The Outer Limits?
I remember The Outer Limits, yeah.
Vaguely, I remember.
Yeah. Because I've never seen the classic Outer Limits. I saw the reboot series they did, Outer Limits.
When was that?
That was like early 2000s. Like I think that's when Forrest Whitaker was hosting the show. Like he would come out and introduce the episodes.
I want to say, okay, so earlier I told you guys about an episode of what I thought was Twilight Zone where they were having sex with a woman and they'll get swallowed in by her vagina. Like she would either suck their energy or she would actually just create a dimension within her vagina or some shit, a black hole or whatever. But
isn't that all women's vaginas?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay,
and they suck the life out of you. But anyway, I thought that was Twilight Zone, but it turned out to be Outer Limits. I'm still looking for that one episode though, but it just made me think about that. And I want to imagine that I saw the old school version. Yeah, because I don't remember Forrest Whitaker.
Maybe it was Forrest Whitaker, or maybe I'm thinking of when they rebooted. Yeah, because it was Forrest Whitaker. Because Outer Limits, the reboot they did was 1995, and it was 95 all the way to 2002. And I think I watched a lot of the reruns from the newer rebooted version. They did that. That's when I watched it from.
Okay, that seems about right then. If it's going all the way up to 2002, that makes more sense.
Yeah. I'm going to put, like you said, like a lot of classic. I'm going to put Simpsons Trios of Horror, which even now I think the Simpsons still do some really good trios of horror. Do you still watch the Simpsons? Do either you still keep up with the Simpsons at all? Or because they're in season like 29 right now.
The Simpsons is great, but I don't watch it anymore. Like if I catch myself on FX or something like that, I watched the whole marathon when they went from season 1 all the way up to the new season.
Right. Okay.
Like I just found myself watching that for one weekend straight.
Yeah, I mean, What do you think The Simpsons fell off? What do you think it was like season 15, 14,
I can't remember what the golden year was. If I remember right, it was 13 or something.
13? I'm doing the Pacific 2004. I'm doing is 2004 or 5. It's when they do the Shining parody. They call it the Shinning.
The shitting, really.
Yeah, they call it the Shinning. I mean, I think it's really funny. Like the beginning of it just starts off really hilarious when Homer he forgets like Marge keeps reminding him like, hey, did you forget to lock the door? He's like, fuck, and he goes back and tries to lock the door and says, did you when you locked the front door? Did you remember to get the back door? He's like, damn it! And he goes back and locks the back door, and they end up leaving Grandpa back there, and they say, fuck,
Forget it.
Yeah, they just say silent. They was like, okay, hell, we already here. Damn it, we're doing this. And it's really good. I think there's a lot of jokes packed into it. Like when they go to the house and do all this science stuff with the blood coming out of the elevator. Lots of really good jokes in there. And then they also do the one in this because they do segments each episode. They also do the one where he goes back in time where he has the toaster. He hits the toaster and he goes back to the prehistoric time, steps on a butterfly, steps on a bird, then goes back in time, then his family are lizards. Then one time he goes back, Ned Flanders has controlled the entire world. And
Forget about that one.
yeah,
it ends with, if I remember correctly, that ends with they all mostly normal, except they all have like forked lizard tongues, kind of.
yeah.
He's like,
And
close
he's
enough.
he's like, close enough.
Yeah, he's like, oh, close enough. And he skips over this paradise of a world that he loved. He's rich. His sisters-in-law are dead. But there's no any donuts, and there's like there's no, but it rains donuts. But he doesn't see that, and he leaves.
That was great. That was great.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of my favorite ones they've ever done. They also ended with the whole the school eating the children. How like you remember Bart and Lisa at school, and then
Oh yeah.
they're running out of supplies. They decide to just eat the children, and then it's like
Principal Skinner's just licking his lips.
yeah, you said yeah. It's like Jimbo said I would always make something out of him one day, and they're just seeing them eat sloppy Jimbo, and they eat the little fat little German boy, and they have Oktoberfest.
Play on Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, and, I mean, I like just a lot of really good stuff like that. Tales from the Crypt. I have a Tales from the Crypt episode here too because I was a big fan of Tales from the Crypt. The Vanquished Dummy, which was with Don Rickles, and then who rest in peace, Don Rickles.
Man, we forgot Goosebumps, man. I'm thinking about the wrong dummy.
Yeah. Was it Slappy from Goosebumps? Oh yeah. I never was really into Goosebumps really.
What's wrong with you, man? You didn't read the books either?
I didn't read the books either. No.
Oh man, that got me into reading.
Yeah, I just never really got into Goosebumps like that. Did you like the Jack Black movie they did, Goosebumps?
I haven't seen it yet. I heard it was good enough. I don't know.
I saw that one.
How was it?
It's fun.
It's good enough.
Yeah, because it's basically
Well,
like
I didn't say
Jumanji.
it was good enough. I said it was fun.
Because it's basically kind of like Jumanji, right? The Goosebumps movie.
It's a
Which
lesser.
one?
It's a lesser Jumanji.
Which Jumanji?
Like with Robin Williams, where all the creatures come out.
Okay.
And all that. It's kind of similar.
Yeah, it's basically Jumanji, but with Goosebump characters and a little bit. Jack Black really does help it out.
Yeah, he's
And the cast isn't bad at all. It's just a little cliched, but it's fine. Like I would say it's a good. If you're a fan of Goosebumps or you ever have a like really good remembrance of it, it's not bad. It's a good like reference by reference point, but it's by no means a classic.
Oh no, I didn't expect that much to begin with.
No, but it's better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. So with Tales from the Crypt, the Vanquished Dummy, with Don Rickles, who it's all about this comedian who uses a puppet to talk, but turns out the puppet is actually like his deformed twin brother is actually on his hand. Yeah, Tales from the Crypt would do your weird shit. I had a whole a string of just watching Tales from the Crypt episode. Like I was watching one with a young Demi Moore. She did when she played like a gold digger who she was married to like Jeffrey Tambor. And that's the thing about Tales from the Crypt. They'd always bring in really big guest stars and who would give really great performances.
I want to say Snoop Dogg was in one of them, wasn't he? Could be wrong.
I don't remember the one with Snoop Dogg in there.
Okay, I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I don't
Might be cross-referencing some things in my mind.
Yeah. But the one with Demi Moore, I was like, damn, Demi Moore is really fucking hot. I forgot how hot Demi Moore used to be. I was like, wow.
You should not forget how hot Demi Moore was.
Yeah. Yeah, but like with the Vanquish, so really great performance. Don Rickles delivering really great comedy, and seeing this little deformed thing just running around everywhere, is really good. Because he was just disgraced kind of after this huge fire that happened, and then he kind of returned to solitude, and only to come out of solitude from this kid who watched him way back when, and then now he's an adult man who wants to be a comedian just like Don Rickles' character, but he finds out this horrible thing about him, that he likes to his twin likes to kill these women, and that was the whole reason why the whole fire set off in the first place. And the deformed twin ends up killing Don Rickles, because Don Rickles chops off the twin. And they, and Tales from the Crypt was always good with puns. And then Don Rickles said he's splitting up the act as he's chopping off his. I mean, hey, that was pretty good, man. I thought that was pretty fucking good.
No,
that was pretty good, man.
Get the fuck out of here with that joke.
And then, so the deformed twin ends up with the guy that wants to be this big comedian, because he sucks, and the dude actually knows what he's doing, so he gets up with him. And at the end, you see the deformed twin form on his hand, like he actually forms, like he fuses himself with his hand, and you see like at the end how like he does, like he takes off the puppet and how he does that.
I feel like I want to take Tales of the Crypts off my list, man. Like what?
Tales of the Crypt do weird shit like that, man.
They did. Now I remember this now. Like, okay, well, yeah, that's
Tales of the Crypt varies wildly in its quality.
That is true. Also, it's just
sometimes it'll have things like that. Sometimes it'll have the story about the guys who would bet against each other.
Oh, cutting cards,
like to the point where they like betted until like losing fingers and cutting each other's fingers off until they're really down to like arms, and there are no legs and arms, and they're still betting.
Yeah, that's cutting cards. That's another classic one too. That's
and really there's like the World War one, which was horribly depressing.
Oh yeah, with
like
Kirk Douglas.
Yellow.
Yeah, Yellow, which was their longest one they ever did. That was like a full hour, because most of them was like 30 minutes, and that was with Kirk Douglas. And it was Yellow, and I think Kirk Douglas's actual son played his son in that as well.
He actually does a fairly good job in it as the main character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another big one is what's another big one I can name from like a big Tales from the Crypt episode that they did? Because Cutting Cards was a big one. The one
like the special did like the blood of something.
The blood of something.
They did like two different. One where like there was like the connection between like the blood of Christ and like it was like a full-on special where like vampires were trying to get into the area and only the blood of Christ could prevent it. And it actually gave a very interesting thing of no, this isn't, the blood of Christ is moved on from person to person. It's just a symbol, and our blood represents that, and we fill the vial back with our own blood. And so like each one passes it on. I got it in World War One from a dying French soldier. Got it.
They made that into a movie, Tales from the Crypt Demon Night. Which,
I
actually just watched it with Jada Pinkett in it.
Okay.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah. To me,
it's not great, but it's not bad.
It's got a good performance by Billy Zane in it, who plays like this demon.
Mr. Ansem the Wise himself.
Yeah, I mean, really good. The New Arrival, that's another great Tales from the Crypt episode. The therapist comes over, makes a house visit. That's a good one. The one with Bill Paxton, again, R.I.P. Bill Paxton. He did People Who Live in Brass Hearses with the Ice Cream Man, and he's like this conjoined twin. Turns out, I mean, Tales from the Crypt always does some really fun, nice stuff. And I'm also going with the next one on my list, Buffy the Vampire Slayer Hush. That's a really great one. That was the only episode that it got nominated for an Emmy for outstanding writing, which actually is barely even any dialogue in that show, because it's the whole premise of the episode was like these demons come called the Gentlemen and take all the voices of the people in the town.
Oh, well, that's why I got nominated an Emmy, because they want them to shut the fuck up, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, apparently so, because they're like, oh, well, finally, an episode without dialogue. It's nominated for once. And Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a staple in horror, I think, as far as, and also what it did, having that female protagonist who was the big, protagonist of the series, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and turning the trope on its head of, because you look at Buffy, being this small blonde girl who would typically be the victim in the horror film, and then she's the big heroine of it. That's what Joss Whedon wanted to do with that, which they did a movie first, which he hated the movie so much because he wrote the movie. And because they were just like, okay, it was so cheesy. It's like, okay, I'm determined to make this a TV show to fix the mistake they did with my script, because Joss Whedon also wrote for the movie. And with Hush, you have the premise of these demons coming who take all the voices of people in the town, and who so they can steal their hearts. So they can come in and take all the hearts of the people. The demons look really scary. They're really like ghoulish creatures, almost like Slender Man, like really tall, just really creepy looking. They also have like these minions, kind of, that are on these straight jackets that run around, kind of like the Joker from the Batman anime. You ever seen the Batman anime series?
The Batman anime.
Hush is from what? Again?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like kind of like move around kind of really crazy, like in these straight jackets. It's a really good, and it shows how kind of the world breaks down without communication, because you see the people of the town kind of turn on each other, kind of try to beat each other up, get into violence, kind of somewhat just depressed, walking around. I was always a really big fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The season that this episode is from, I wasn't really a big fan of. Like the season when she went to college, I really didn't care about that season too much. But this episode is really excellent. If you've never seen it, I say check it out. And I say check out Buffy the Vampire Slayer just in general. I mean, it's a really great series.
I won't.
Hey, come on! Why would you check out Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
I didn't like it then. I won't like it now.
Have you ever seen? So you've seen no Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
No, I've seen a decent amount, but I wasn't a fan of it. Just the same way. It was something else that was in the same vein of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I can't remember what it is. But
was it Angel, or
it might have been, but
because that was a spinoff of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
To make a long story short, it was a female protagonist with a male sidekick that was kind of wimpy, because her sidekick was wimpy, or her boyfriend or something like that, right?
Charmed.
No, I don't think he's talking about because Charmed was it 3 witches? It wasn't with 3 female protagonists, was it?
It might, man. Forget that part. I'll just say this much: I won't watch Buffy. It's not for me.
Buffy's got some great episodes. Once More Feeling, which was like an all musical episode, that was really great. I love the music from that episode. Like that, there's some really great stuff.
You guys were getting me with the movies. Just bring me more movies. And
okay.
The Buffy, I'm not going to it.
And I'm gonna wrap it up with this last Twilight Zone episode. The monsters are due on Maple Street, which is good old classic Twilight Zone stuff.
Okay. Where
these aliens, they come down this little Maple Street, this little small place, to do an experiment and to see what will happen if they basically shut off all the electricity, shut off basically everything. The cars can't run, the electricity doesn't work.
Oh, we're dead.
Yeah, and you see how quickly this little street of people who've known each other for years and years turn on each other. Of how you do this weird shit when you look up at the sky. What the fuck is that all about, huh? Charlie, what the fuck you doing that for? The fuck you doing this for?
You do all this shit.
Yeah, why do you? They said you've been working on a radio downstairs in the basement. Why are you doing that? What's going on there, huh? You talking to aliens in there? So I'm like, the fuck is? So you see,
I remember this now.
Yeah, how quickly people turn each other. How prejudice will do that, and especially it's relevant now. Of just how society will do that. And honorable mention, real quick, was Talking Tina. You remember that Twilight Zone episode, Talking Tina, the little doll?
I don't remember what it was all about, but I remember the name and I remember the little doll.
Yeah, because the little girl, it was based on the Chatty Cathy doll that people had at the time, and so the little girl bought this Talking Tina, which is a wind-up doll that can talk, and the person who voiced the doll, June Foray, who actually died this year. She died in July, actually, this year. June Foray. She also was she was like a big voice actor at the time. She also did the voice of Rocky from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Okay, I thought you meant Rocky from the movie.
No, she did the squirrel from she did it from Rocky and Bullwinkle, and how the little girl, said, "I'm talking Tina, and I'm going to kill you." That's the voice she did for the character.
We're putting this in the garbage can.
Yeah, I don't like dolls, period, at all, because I just think they're fucking terrifying.
Mannequins are worse.
Yeah,
I like mannequins actually.
Well, mannequins don't have eyes.
Yeah, no,
Most.
Jesus, mannequins had eyes, Jesus.
Yeah, so that's not as bad for me. But it was really the dude's fault in the show because like the dude was an asshole. Like dude was an asshole because he was like the stepfather.
Okay.
So this little girl and the wife, and apparently they couldn't have children, and like he was kind of, you could tell he was kind of mad that like he couldn't have children and stuff like that.
How did they have the girl? Wait, what?
The girl, he was a stepfather.
No, but he could. Okay, never mind.
All right, so he couldn't have children with her. And how like everything she did is like, well, yeah, I bought the little girl the doll so she can have some company. And see him freak out, like, so what you trying to say? Was that, I can't have children? Is that what you mean? And she's kind of just looking off like, no, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, you fucking weirdo. Like, I just bought the girl a doll. Jesus Christ, calm down. And so, I mean, you really hate that guy mostly. So you really kind of do want to see the doll kill the guy.
He's just mad because his balls don't work.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's just resentful there. And plus, that guy in that episode was way too ugly to be with that fucking woman in there. Because that woman was hot. Like, I was like, that's okay. I know this is a Twilight Zone, but that shit is too out of the fucking dimension for that guy to be with her.
Well, she was with him because she couldn't get pregnant. It's like, oh wait, I can have sex with this guy. I don't have to worry about getting pregnant. Like, what time period was this?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's true. Yeah, maybe she was with him because it was like, well, I can just do whatever I want on the side. Maybe he'll support me. I do whatever I want on the side. 'Cause I was like, okay, that's just fucking unbelievable. I can't believe that. Like, this hot chick with his dude, I was like, that's fucking, no. Like, I know this is Twilight Zone without another dimensions and crazy story, but that shit is crazy in itself. And just, I love everything about the Twilight Zone. I love more of the classic stuff than the newer stuff. And also Rod Serling, who I love the way he would introduce the episodes. Because first of all, he always talked like he was talking through his teeth. He never opened his mouth. Like, he'd always talk like this. Like, welcome to the Twilight Zone, where the prejudice of another dimension is here. It's like, dude, you can open your mouth. It's okay. Like, you have a tongue for a reason. It's all right, man. But he was a big, innovator at the time. Like, people like him, people like Gene Roddenberry, who would touch on a lot of those social topics, like, censorship, like racism, like war. Really just big, I think, horror icon within himself, with sci-fi and all the stuff he's in it, Did you ever see Alfred Hitchcock's Presents? Did you ever see that as well?
No.
Okay, because
Dusk.
Yeah.
Have you seen Alfred Hitchcock Presents Twilight Zone or
no? He did his own kind of like horror.
No, yeah. Alfred Hitchcock Presents. He did like all these shorts before he kind of alongside when he was trying to think of doing something more.
Yeah,
he had a whole like enterprise before he was really a director, one of the first directors to really kind of brand himself.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's also really great stuff too, like all Alfred Hitchcock's little shorts. Yeah. That's also something great. Outer Limits too is also really good.
Oh yeah,
classic stuff. So good horror anthology stuff. Hello, thanks for checking out our content. If you liked it, let us know, and if you didn't, let us know that as well. If you want to see more content, we post every Saturday on SoundCloud and YouTube at The Afternoon Tune. You can also find us through various social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all one word at The Afternoon Tune. And if you don't deal with any of that social media stuff, you can also find us through our email at theafternoontune@gmail.com. And don't forget to always stay tuned.